Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Um, I had previously shared how I'm sentence mining a book in Arabic, but today I want to demonstrate how you can potentially apply this technique of sentence mining to the very well-known series Al-Arabiyya Bayna Yadayk, which I believe is really one of the best series if you're a beginner to Arabic. And I might be a bit biased because I've gone through the series, but it really is very good. And I'm working with someone currently to help them go through sentence mining, the various readings in the text. And so I want to show you how you can do it, because I think if I had done this technique the way I'm going to show it to you, I would have greatly enhanced the way that I was going through it previously. So I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. The tools or the things that you're going to need include, first of all, you're going to need the text, which I have here in front of me. Either a PDF or the physical book is fine. You will need the downloaded audio for the books. You will need some sort of tool that you can use to parse and break up the audio. I'm using this tool and it's worked very well for me. Audacity, very, very good tool. And I'll be showing you how I use it. You're going to need some sort of a dictionary where you're obviously getting the definitions, or you can have the written definition, just if you're studying it with a teacher or they give you the definition. I use Anki for my flashcards, which is where you're going to the tool you're really using ultimately to learn here through a spaced repetition approach. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do. Let's move this down here. And finally, optional if you'd like, I also use Al-Ma'ani. Sometimes it's really good for conjugation. So I'll just give you a really quick example. Which is obviously the verb meaning to go. So if I search that up, it'll give me this whole conjugation, ذهب, and then it has all of the ذهب, إلى, بي, على, which are the different حروف الجر that can go with it. يذهب, ذهاب, ذهوبا, these are the verbal nouns. ذاهب, ذهوب, this is the active particle or the اسم فاعل, and المفعول, which is the passive. I think it's called the passive particle, if I'm not mistaken in English, the way it's مذهوب is basically مفعول. So this is a good tool to use potentially for that. And then I'm also going to use Google just to search images to add into our flashcard. So I'm going to get right into it. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to mention as well, you're going to need a tool called Google Lens. The way you're going to do it, if you own an iPhone like myself, you would just download the Google app and you click the photo icon that's in the search bar, and that's how you're going to scan the text and get the digital text to copy into the flashcard. Okay. So I'm going to show it. I'm going to show you how you can apply this to one specific example, and I think it'll be easy enough that you can take it from there, and I'm applying it to many different examples. So I'm going to go to this lesson. Now I have the MP3 downloaded, and usually you might find if, for example, maybe you have the CD, the audios are all just numbers, and that corresponds to a lesson number in the text. So for example, this says lesson dars 93, like 93, lesson 93. I have audio number 93 that I have open here because it corresponds to this specific lesson. So let's say you're reading through it and you can maybe highlight some of the words you don't know or write them down so that once you're done the lesson or once you're done with your teacher after class, you would sit down and you go through this process of sentence mining. Okay, and sometimes you might also have the new sentences here, or the words that you want to sentence mine just on the back in the first and second book. So the example I want to take, the example sentence is أذهب بالقطار. أذهب بالقطار. I go by train. أذهب بالقطار. Okay. So what I do is to actually sentence mine. First, I'm going to take my phone. I have Google Lens. I'm going to scan this. I am in the process of scanning it. and I just gotta click text. So now I have it scanned. So I'm gonna show you what this looks like on my screen if I can. So you can see I've scanned the text. At the bottom, you're gonna find you can copy it to computer at the bottom of your screen. So I'm gonna copy to computer, and I have my device selected. And now if I go over here to the front of the card, by the way, what you're gonna wanna do is the front is all in Arabic. So if you hit, while you're adding the card, if you hit this fields option, just reverse text direction. So that's going right to left, your flashcard. I have actually just copy pasted this exact thing. And it even included the name Badr. He said, "Adhabu bil-qitar." So I'm going to clean this up. Now, generally speaking, when you sentence mine, you want to sentence mine a sentence where you understand the majority of it, or basically all of it. You really want just one word in that sentence that you're not fully clear on. So at this point, I understand the word adhab, let's say in this scenario, because I've learned it from previous lessons. But qitar is a new word. Qitar is a new word. So I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to bold it. And I'm going to search it. I'm going to press copy now. I'm going to search, what is qitar? I'm going to search in, I like this tool, like I said, qitar. So it's train. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. Usually I try to put some sort of a conjugation here. And then I'll just do qitarat, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, qitarat is the most common plural. So from the plural. So qitar, qitarat, train and trains. Okay, so I have the conjugation here. I'm going to press, or rather copy. This means train. And that's pretty much it. I have what I am, the overall structure. The last thing that remains is adding the audio. So what I'm going to do when it comes to adding the audio is you're going to go through this tool, this some sort of audio parsing tool. And I would go and I would, for example, this should be, and I should be sharing audio, I believe, just so you can hear this. Share computer audio. I'm also going to just, I believe I need to rescan because the output device is my built-in audio, which I definitely believe I do not want here. Rescan audio devices. And because I'm using Zoom, it should work now.
أذهب بالقطار.
أذهب بالقطار. So this will help me in adding it to the flashcard. So what I would do once I highlight it,
أذهب بالقطار.
now only that part of the text is highlighted. So what I'm going to do is I go up, File, Export, Export Selected Audio. Only what's selected should be exported. So Export Selected Audio. Hit that, and I already have. You'll see actually, what I do is I save it as the name of this, or as a sentence rather. So if I go back, I'll copy my sentence. I'll paste it, and I should already have this sentence, أذهب بالقطار. I've already saved it, but in your case, you would just hit save. It saves as an MP3 file, and it would be saved to your sentence mining folder. Now, the last thing that needs to be done is I pressed enter, I take the cursor under the sentence, and I would attach, I press the attachment option, and these are, so I have to go to the correct folder, which I had it saved under.
أذهب بالقطار.
Sometimes I find you want to just go away. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes I find just clicking away will help it to actually populate. Otherwise, sometimes you have to try to attach it once or twice for it to work. And we have the structure of our card. I mean, this is it. From here, you can start to study the meaning of that word that you ran into. Now, the one thing you have to note is if you're using Google Lens, it will not bring any of the harakat or tashkil, any of the short vowel signs, right, that you might be used to. Because if I go to the lesson, I zoom in here, you can see there's vowels, like there's a sukoon, right? Oh, there's a sukoon and there's a fatha and a dhamma and everything there that you might want. It's not here. So what you would have to do is you have to enter that manually if it's something you really believe is important to you. I think if you're a beginner, if you're more of a beginner, that might actually be a good exercise because you're not at a point where you can really just read without any harakat. But you also, the thing you should keep in mind is you do have the audio that will correct your pronunciation should you make any mistakes, if that's sort of the approach that you want to take. Now I'm going to add this card. So it's added, and I've added it to my test deck.
أذهب بالقطار.
And here it is. This is I have the one new card here listed. أذهب بالقطار.
أذهب بالقطار.
So as you're studying, when you're actually studying now your flashcards, you would encounter this word.
أذهب بالقطار.
Usually I prefer to read it first, depending on the situation. Either I'll have the audio turned on and it'll directly read it, or I will first try to read the audio and then or rather I'll try to read the text and then I will listen to the audio. So if I bring up the study options, I'm not sure if I can from here. So if I just bring up options, so the way you would set that is up here. Don't play audio automatically. If you prefer to play the audio automatically, then you would leave this unchecked. If you prefer that it doesn't play automatically, you would have to check that off. So in some cases, I find it's useful. Again, I'm testing potentially my ability to pronounce this sentence without short vowels.
أذهب بالقطار.
I could say, so before I start, I could say أذهب or أذهب بالقطار.
أذهب بالقطار.
Then I listen and I realize, no, it's not أذهب, it's أذهب بالقطار. Now, when I check the back of the sentence, that highlighted word that I didn't know, it shows up. And so the two conditions really to passing this card, what I would consider as good, is when I understand the overall meaning of the sentence. أذهب بالقطار means I went by train, or I go by train. And the meaning of that highlighted word, which is train in this case. If those two conditions are met, then this card is good. If not, if one of these two conditions, if I either the sentence, I just didn't understand the sentence fully, or I didn't get the meaning of that word, then I would mark it again. I never mark hard or easy on Anki, and that's a thing that it's well known amongst potentially those who do use Anki. If you use Anki, you might know of something called it's ease hell, because of the way that Anki calculates the difficulty of the card in the background. By pressing hard or easy, it just exponentially increases the length or duration you're going to see that card, or decrease. So just always hit easy, or rather again, or good. Now, the one thing actually I didn't show you, and I'm going to hit edit to edit this in. One other option you can add, which just makes your learning easier, is you could potentially add an image. So if I hit train, so I'm going to just find an image that maybe I like the steam train here. Yeah, that looks very nice. So I'll just copy image, go back here, and I'll paste it, and I'll also just make it smaller. So if I'm studying on my phone, I don't get this huge image. Now I have a train also there to help me study. So, I got the sentence, so I'll mark it as good. And that's it. I'm done that review. So, I think this is a very, very powerful approach to learning vocabulary. The reason why, because you're learning in context. You're learning the word. You're not just learning qitar, you're learning adhabu bil qitar. So you know that I went by train, or I go by train. So it's something you use for transportation, and it's actually again, it's just in context. So it just makes learning vocabulary a lot better. And so I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to be more than happy, inshallah, to answer any questions. Wassalamu alaikum.